love it. This is Vibe No Queen Season 3, The Matriarchs, and this is the little episode that I prefer to call the recap, where I get to sit with you guys and analyze the whole season and just put it in a nutshell for all of you who are not able to tune into the full episodes. But I highly, highly advise that you tune into all the episodes, which you will find in links that will be coming on in this episode. Vibe No Queen started as an idea during the COVID-19 pandemic, as a need to reach out and find out how my friends were doing. And, you know, just from the conversations that we were having on phone and sharing and checking in on each other and finding out how people are coping with the adverse effects of the pandemic, I thought to actually invite some of my friends over to my house where we would be just chilling and sipping on some tea and just talking about these things, but just talking to, you know, you guys at home, because we were all locked in and we did not have much to do. We didn't have much to entertain us, but mostly we didn't have much to inspire us. And the first time we did this, you know, I remember the first episode I had Labdi on, and followed a series of female musicians who are my friends and who we work with in the music industry in Nairobi. And these conversations stirred up a need to keep continuing and keep checking in on people, but mostly inspiring the generation that's coming before, is it before? The generation that's coming after us, to have something to anchor and actually hear our stories in a very organic way, in a very non-camera lights action kind of way, and to just connect with us one-on-one and see us as human beings first before the people that you see on stage, before the quote-unquote stars that you relate to. It's very important to understand people from a humane perspective, because the COVID-19 pandemic is one thing that actually leveled all of us, you know, leveled us to you know, see each other as human, treat each other as brothers and sisters. Vibe No Queen Season 3, The Matriarchs, came in as a need to actually converse with the women that came before us, the pioneers of the music industry. People like Nazizi, people like Idi Achieng, people like June Gashui. All of these women are powerful, powerful women who have actually given me an opportunity, a stage. And we've performed together. We started out as, you know, workmates, and now we're very good friends. These are people that I seek advice from. These are people that I sit down and brainstorm with about issues that are really, really affecting us as women in music. And I'm very glad that this season we got to sit here and we got to talk about all these matters. From episode 1, Idi Achieng came in, this powerful voice, you know, that I met in the early, I think, 2010 or 2011. And I remember she gave me an opportunity, and I didn't even have a big djembe like this one that stands here. I had a little tiny drum, and she gave me an opportunity to play with her and to experiment on her music, and having her sit here and, you know, talk about so deeply about how our cultures have influenced our ways of being as women, but mostly as women in music, was really, really fascinating. Hear her say and hear her relate to her roots so much. You know, she comes from Western Kenya, she's a Luo, and seeing how she is very passionate about her culture and how she intertwines her culture in her music business, in her musical ways, and how she respects her tradition so well is really, really fascinating. The one thing that I actually found quite inspiring and was quite odd to me is that, you know, the cultural aspect of music is one of the things that actually hinders us women from practicing our art, from just being musicians. But it was very interesting to see how Edie sees culture as a contributor to the ways of music and to the ways of being as a woman, as opposed to something that actually hinders it. It was quite an epic lesson for me to learn, and I really do hope that you can tune into Edie Achieng's episode using the link below, and get to experience her awesomeness and her amazing and powerful voice. I'll never forget. No, thorax. Next, we had the amazing, the most beautiful, June Gashui. June Gashui is she's a smart woman, this one. She is an IP lawyer. She is a curator of several formats or projects in the music industry. You might have heard about the Hang in Nairobi. You might have heard about Motown in Nairobi. Those are all her curations. She is also a radio host. She is part of a comedy project called BYSS. And she's an all-around just amazing person, and inspiring person. And to hear how, just seeing how she wears all these hats, because she's one of the people that I know who are both in front and at the back of the stage as well. She's the one person that I know who sits in the space of being on stage, but also seeing the finances of not the finances, but seeing the legal part of music, and just listening to how she juggles these these many hats that she wears was completely inspiring. Hearing her talk about how she is so passionate about giving women opportunities was super inspiring as well, because I remember when and in about, I think, 2013 or thereabout, she had a gig called the Simplified Soul Jam, and she put together an all-female band, and that is the first time that I actually worked with an all-female project. And from there, we went ahead and formed the Flower Project, which exists up to date. And just seeing how June is such an empathetic person in terms of creating opportunities for women, but also just really empowering them, not to just be there as women, but actually to star and to be as good as our male counterparts. This is something very, very inspirational about June. Please make sure to check out her episode using the link below, and be super inspired. We had an amazing, amazing time with Ivy Alexander, who accompanied her as well. And we had a few jams to that. So please do make sure to check that out as well, and let us know what you think about it. And then we had, for episode 3, we had Wandere Karemi, who is an IP lawyer, my very, very good friend, and the co-founder of the Women's Orchestra. It was really, really nice to just sit down with Karemi and understand, the side of orchestral music, or the side of having an all women's orchestra, the challenges behind such a big group of women, about 70 something or 80 something, if I remember very well. And just brainstorming, the challenges behind orchestral music and traditional music, because I remember we spoke about, the financial aspect of, having to have some money to be able to find an orchestral instrument, something like a violin or a double bass. And I remember also, challenging to ask her, what does she think the difference is between how modern, quote unquote, modern instrumentalists and traditional instrumentalists exist. It was really, really cool to actually brainstorm about that. Make sure to check out her episode using the link below, and get to see the whole conversation. It was really, really nice also to experience her play, because not so many people know her as a musician. Most people know her as a leader, but most people know her as an IP lawyer. So it was really, really nice to actually see this side of Karemi come out, this artistic side of hers. And we truly had an amazing, amazing, amazing session. Very, very inspiring. Last but not least, in episode 4, we had Nazizi, and man, I'm just so excited to have had Nazizi on Vibe No Queen. This is one of the people that I actually grew up listening to, and just really admiring her confidence, and just being able to sit with Nazizi in person made me realize how passionate she is about the spaces of women in music. And she's done so much work. I mean, you could just see her, just trailblazing back in the day, and just seeing her amongst all these guys and wondering what is this lady doing in a bunch of male dominated spaces, all these MCs, and just listening to her story, telling us how she used to, hang out with the likes of Akina Kalamashaka, and her parents were super worried. I'm sure these are problems that most women who are interested in joining the musical space are very, very concerned about. I'm sure you're going to be super, super, super inspired by watching her episode. Do check it out in the link below, and get inspired, because this was truly an amazing session. And we had Ivy Alexander join us again. We got to jump to these songs that I actually used to listen to so much, man. It's a dream come true to be able to just be able to sit with Nazizi, and somebody that I truly really admired back in the day, to be able to have a conversation and decode, what are the problems and challenges that we are facing in the hip hop and MC scene, and what has changed, what hasn't, what can we do to make the spaces better. There's a whole bunch of things that we talked about. Make sure to watch her episode, because the whole conversation is there. And in general, the one message that I got from all the queens in Vibe the Queen season 3, the matriarchs, is that there is still a lot of work to do in terms of uniting Kenyan women in music, coming together to form a movement, to create more opportunities for the ladies and the girls that are coming after us. Why do I keep confusing? Is it after or before? After. The ladies who are coming in after us. These girls need to be inspired. These girls need to know where people have been. Everybody, you who's watching, who's interested in becoming a musician, you who's interested in becoming an instrumentalist. I feel it's very important to actually understand how the industry has been growing, where we have been, where we are at right now, and probably what's going to come. So many things have changed. There's social media now, which is quite a big factor in the way that we operate our lives in general, but it's also an important tool in terms of monetizing our music, monetizing our art. There's aspects of things like intellectual property, where people like Karimi and June Gashui super explained why it's really, really important to understand what wealth or rights you own in your artistic creations. Back in the day, we were completely like super uninformed, and now there's so many channels of understanding how we can protect our artistic creations and how we can keep monetizing. There's more awareness in terms of bodies that protect creatives like musicians, producers, and the like. So please get to watch these episodes and really listen to what they're saying, because there's so many resources in there. And I feel like it's just really, really nice to understand where people have been, and the importance of actually having Vibe No Queen season 3 is to understand what our queens have been through, what they've lived through, and the fact that they're still here now, how they're viewing the industry now. And I think it's just generally important to respect the kind of work that they've been doing, and the milestones that they have walked, and the work that they have done for us to be able to exist now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of Vibe No Queen. I wouldn't have done this without you. For 3 seasons now, you've been here, you've been following us, you've been fanning us. Thank you so much for all the questions that you guys have been asking all through in the previous Vibe No Queen episodes on Instagram. We will try as much as possible to infuse the element of Instagram next time. Thank you so much for supporting us. Tell a friend to follow this movement, as we are here to create awareness and to unite Kenyan women in music. I just want to take a special moment to appreciate our sponsor, Music in Africa Live, an amazing initiative that was birthed by Music in Africa Foundation, which came about during the COVID-19 pandemic to help artists maneuver the challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic presented to us. Music in Africa Live is supported by the German Federal Foreign Office and Siemens Stiftung and Goethe Institute. Our other supporters are Gecko Cafe, who have fed us amazingly and taken care of us during our recording sessions. High Synergy Events for powering Vibe No Queen and making sure that everything looks as amazing as it looked. Elmara Aperi for supplying us with 100% organic Kenyan sourced honey, which we have been having all through the Vibe Na Queen episodes so far. Thank you so much, Elmara Aperi. And Makeup by Makera, who panged us up and made us look as amazing as we looked in all the episodes. Thank you so much, Makeup by Mokera. Last but not least, I want to thank you all for tuning in, for being with us this season. Thank you so much for following our conversations. Thank you for being inspired, because I'm sure you are inspired by now. Thank you so much for supporting my art, my percussion, and thank you so much for fanning me and helping me build confidence and inspiring me to actually be able to sit here and inspire you all through Vibe No Queen Season 3, The Matriarchs. Thank you so much, and see you next season.